Thank you for coming. Yes, tonight we're going to have Confessions of a Public Mural Artist and Preservationist. And we want to thank the Chai Buena Vida Hadassah. And it's Wednesday evening, August 25th. My God, time is flying. Yes, Lashana Tova, happy Rosh Hashanah. It is the year of 5782. And this is one of my recent murals that I also made for Happy New Year in Delray Beach downtown, where we welcomed in the year 2021. You can see the Christmas tree is here, and right over here is the Hanukkah menorah, although you can't see it. And we just lost that. Anyway, I was thinking about this morning, like, oh my God, it's almost 2022. So we'll have to change the name on this mural. And we are still involved in the coronavirus. And I wanted to show you something I did when the first signs of the coronavirus and the shutdown. It was March of 2020. I had just come back from California visiting my sister. And we were told, you know, we had to stay home and everything would be shut down. And after cleaning my closets in 1 week, I said, this is crazy, I must do something. And I came up with this idea. And the idea would be alone together, that I would invite all my friends who are artists and all the Palm Beach County artists, public artists, and to submit something, and I would make a collage. I teach mixed media collage at Old School Square on Tuesday afternoons from 1 to 4, and it's a Zoom class, so you don't even have to be in Florida anymore. But I said, I'm gonna make a collage, and I thought I was gonna rip everybody's work up, but it evolved as people started to submit. So here we have the words alone together, and I asked for 6-inch squares. So I thank God for online and the computer. I ordered a canvas, and a canvas comes 6 yards, which is an 18-foot roll. And this is my front door, which got blocked, and my entire living room. And I started taping out the word together. And I like to show in progress where you see all these mistakes and changes and tests. So you really see, how does something happen? I started saving headlines for just the full months of March and April 2020. And I saved them and I printed them out and I cut them in the shape of clouds, because the idea that people were dying and in heaven, I called them heavenly headlines. And if we look here, this one says the creative will survive. Of course, that struck me because I'm creative and I hope to survive. So here it is. This is a wide angle. So you see the curve. And you know, how was I going to do with these headlines? And what I did was every 14 inches on a diagonal, but the diagonal represented like rain or a hurricane, that this COVID virus is creating havoc in our lives. And it was black and white lettering, contrasting the gray and the black of the word together. And I got foam from Home Depot, these long 4-foot by 8-foot sheets, and I cut out the letters alone. And I had such a wide response from artists that I decided to do 20 and 20. Now, 2020 was the year, but 2020 hindsight, if we only knew what we know today, so many lives could have been saved. Toilet paper was scarce, and I love to recycle in my art. So I took toilet paper tubes and lined them up and painted them to look like heaven. We'll see them as the border of the canvas soon. Are we going backwards or forwards here? What happened? We're going backwards. How is that possible? Okay. And I was really being literal. You know, this whole 6 inches deep, socially distant, you know, stay 6 feet apart from people. I wanted the words alone, which I could have simply just glued onto the canvas, but I wanted them 6 inches deep. I wanted to stand away. I wanted the art to socially distant from the canvas. So I cut little squares and I made these, what I call spacers. And you can see when you put them on the back of the canvas, it keeps it away. Here it is finished, because you have to finish the back of the work professionally. It's all painted and black. And this is all in my living room, all alone. My dog had passed away and I was really isolated at this time. The only thing kept me going was emailing these 113 artists that submitted to me. And it was all kinds of things. It was all art that they made during the pandemic, or something that they felt close to during the pandemic, or something that inspired them. But you can see like glasses of wine, and people love their pets, and people ate cake and candy, and COVID-19. And you can see just really, if you look at each one in the context, here's a young Dash in California in front of an Art Deco building wearing a mask. Wow, that was such a unique idea at that time. We're still in March and April of 2020. And here you could see bright colors that made people happy, and people eating healthy, and just so many ideas of what was going on. A few of these people died, actually. Terrell Lawrence's husband, this was her wedding picture, but he died shortly after, although not of COVID. I mean, very, very personal things people sent. And then I made a mock-up. I opened up tables in my living room, and just to know where will I place them. Everything had to balance out. And then I finally printed I brought my printer downstairs. I have a 2-story house, so we brought the printer and the computer downstairs and made everything fit on these canvases. Here's a finished one, laying it out, and gluing. That was learning what glues to buy. And it was really not only a learning process, but of course, this foil was very hard to work on. And then finally I finished on June 10th, 2020. And I loaded up the car. The Cultural Council of Palm Beach County offered to show it. I had no idea where it was going to go at the time. And they allowed me to paint some clouds. And you can see the heaven here. I wanted to add some heaven. And here it was finished. Unfortunately, no one ever got to see this in person. The museum was closed for 3 months. This is in downtown Lake Worth. We're going to see more from this building. But here it is, and I love the way it reflected in the floor. And I'm really looking for a place for it to be installed again. But it's called Alone Together, a Corona Crisis Collage, the socially distant mural installation. It's printed in 2 books, Pandemic in Paradise, and a quilting book that's coming out soon to show all the creative things that people were doing during the pandemic. And here you can see where my hand is behind it. You could see how the letters are socially distant from the background. Look at this. Florida has 2 deaths. I mean, this was really a long time ago. Look where we're up to now. Palm Beach Post put it on the front page of Accent section. So public art can be seen by all. And it creates a dialogue in the community. What do you think about it? How does it affect you? But sometimes you don't like it. Sometimes it's controversial. And when we think of that, we think of Diego Rivera, who started painting murals in the early 20th century. We all know he was married to Frida Kahlo, but he was a communist. And here we'll see that he painted this portrait of Lenin in the Rockefeller Center mural right here. Can you see it right there? And the day that it was set to open and they had it unveiled, and John Rockefeller found out that he put communists in Rockefeller Center in 1933, it was called Man of Crossroads, he was furious and allowed no one to see the mural and had it destroyed. But Diego Rivera was, of course, very upset, and he went to Mexico City, where he repainted the entire mural, and it is still there today if you did want to see it. At the same time, we have Howard Carter discovering King Tut's tomb, 1922. I just came back from Egypt too, but maybe we'll have another talk on that trip. That's a fabulous vacation. It's the beginning of Art Deco. And by 1925, everything Egyptian is all the rage. And we have the International Exposition des Arts Décoratifs et Industriels Modernes. And we see here the word Arts Décoratifs. Arts Décoratifs. In 1968, someone looked back and said, let's just call everything Arts Décoratifs, Art Deco. that happened from 1925 to 1939 when World War II started and all factories had to do production for the war. We really kind of understand these things now. But I was living in New York before I moved to Florida, and I always knew about the Empire State Building, and we see how it steps up and has this futuristic finial. And we see groups of threes, 1, 2, 3. And it is currently the 5th tallest building in the United States. Architects Shreve Lamb and Harbert. And of course, we all know the Chrysler Building by William Van Allen. And to see this lit up at night is extraordinary. But when I was in New York, I got a tour. The original blueprints are for the Chrysler Building here.